it's an amazing relationship. I'm really blown away. I wish they could come to every meeting that I go to.
Well, kia ora and welcome to Microsoft ISV Chats. This is an exciting new series that we're doing on successful ISVs and how their partnership with Microsoft has helped their business succeed. Now, if you're a business that sells software to companies and you're looking for ways to transform, innovate, and accelerate growth in your business, then this is an amazing opportunity to find out how you can partner with Microsoft to meet your goals. Microsoft have a structured approach on how they support ISVs through build, market, and sell. And in these interviews, you'll get to hear from a mix of real ISV success stories and key Microsoft stakeholders as well to get more insights into how you can also benefit from this partnership. Now, today we're talking to AsBuilt, an amazing firm, and we've got David Burton, the CEO of AsBuilt, Craig Lamont, Chief Operations Officer based in Sydney, Australia, and Simon Mobley, the CTO at AsBuilt in Auckland, New Zealand. Welcome, guys, to ISV Chats. It's lovely to see you all.
Hi, Luke.
Thanks, Luke.
Cool. We're talking about technology solutions in your industry, which is construction. So how did you really first come to terms with the fact that there was a opportunity in that industry to, I guess, digitize what was happening?
Construction as an industry, I think if you look at some of the research that's out there, we're one of the last major industries to digitize, which is crazy because the whole world depends on a construction service. As a business, construction is 12 trillion per annum, and we're currently 1.6 trillion per annum inefficient. The problem we were trying to solve at the very start was how do we create a better design process. And I think from that piece there of using a technology solution to create a 3D environment, which has many different buzzwords now in our industry. People use BIM, they use digital twins, and it's crazy to think people are even talking about a digital world now. So the journey from that point was we create this spatial foundation and that real spatial alignment, and that's key to how we think and how we do business and how we try and align our whole supply chain.
I mean, talking about challenges, all three of you guys must have seen some crazy examples of inefficiency within your industry over the years. Do any sort of stories come to mind?
Really interesting one, because you're trying to bring some really awesome technology out there. You know, we mentioned how it's undigitized and we're trying to bring in all this new technology, but I think a success from our side and on the projects that we're doing is really our ability to say, okay, we've got that background, we've got that understanding, we've got a team with a real variety of practical and advanced understandings that we can then bring that together and solve a practical solution. You know, it's about being realistic about what you're trying to achieve and identifying some of those goals. It's trying to say to a guy on site, this is how you're going to, for example, here's a toilet, you're going to install this differently, a different way of doing it. Here's something that's a lot more efficient. He's been doing it the same way for say 10, 15 years. You've got to try and prove to him until you've done it right, and then you might be converting him, and those are some of the biggest successes we've had. Yeah.
Well, it doesn't get more grassroots than installing a toilet, mate, so thank you for that.
I mean, if we use that project again as a different frame, a different lens to look at it, and I'm going to try and stay away from the toilet analogy.
Bad analogy there.
Guys. But yeah, I'm going to throw this your way, Craig, with your project management background. Our industry, we've changed relatively quickly. When I studied, which wasn't that long ago, our documentation was 2D drawings and yes, pen and paper, and then we moved to some 2D CAD, and then we've moved to some 3D design. But now our documentation is a spatial database, and I think what's really lacking and what we're solving with what we're doing on Azure and some of our workflows, we're providing this framework to connect the whole supply chain. I think, Craig, with some of your project management background, you can probably give us a little bit of a high level
If you want a bad example of bad management, I know of a job that I was working on in Auckland, and a truck dumped some dirt which blocked the main driveway in, and we had to throw away about 8 concrete trucks worth of concrete because they couldn't get it shifted in time before the concrete going off. And these are the sorts of things that, digitizing a construction site, for instance, will remove in the future. Of course, that doesn't happen now. Construction sites are perfect, so that's a joke. Yeah, that's a joke. So, these are the sorts of things. These are the problems that we're actually trying to solve. It's not necessarily the highly efficient, most computerized construction site out there. It's just efficiency can literally mean your concrete trucks turning up half an hour earlier and only being waiting on site for 10 minutes or something. I mean, these are massive gains in the industry. The truck driver can get one more delivery in at another construction site somewhere. These are the sorts of pain points that we're really trying to remove in the industry.
It's so good to hear what it actually means for your customers and how the AsBuilt solution has benefited people on the ground. An example of that is you guys working with the ADHB, and in particular, they've leveraged the AsBuilt Vault. We've got a video to sort of give you a bit more information about this. Check it out.
The AsBuilt Vault is the foundation of the spatial database. It brings together many different data sets and creates that single source of truth. The Auckland District Health Board came to us with a security upgrade project, and they had the forethought, rather than just capturing the information we need just for this project, let's go through a more modern capture process where we can create a 3D spatial database of everything that's there currently. We went in there and did the 3D laser scanning, captured everything spatially.
So it's digital imaging where we put in a scanner in space and it sends out laser and captures the actual elements of the space.
Asset owners are becoming a lot smarter as to the life cycle cost and really focusing on how can we reduce this operator management piece of the life cycle. The operational side of the hospital are wanting this asset as well. Some of the things that they're talking about is really understanding what departments are where spatially, who has what footprint in the building, rooms and theatres being optimised. They're wanting to start to track some of their assets around their hospital so they know where these assets are in real time spatially. Engage 360 studio experience where we immerse a group of stakeholders in their digital asset brings together so many different parties. We can have a conversation with the digital environment around us. A strategy of AsBuilt is to really help our clients take control and manage their digital assets. We've seen an opportunity to build a platform to help asset owners do that. That's what we're calling our AsBuilt Vault, and that's built on Microsoft Azure.
It's an extreme amount of data that we're capturing. We've placed all of that information in one place that's really enabled that owner of the data to go to that one spot and send it out to other people rather than having to cobble together different places that hold the different data sets.
Microsoft have been a great partner. They're very recognised in the market. They've also got that level of trust and security.
We have full control over who gets in there, and we can cut off the access whenever we need. We can reassure the client that that's the case.
The digital foundation enables transformational technologies such as IoT and AI to come together onto one platform.
That's fantastic to see. It's a great video. And I guess this is really where the rubber meets the road for AsBuilt and how you turned a construction firm into a technology firm. I'd love to hear more about this and some of the key things that have really tripped you up, I guess, as you've made that transition.
The concept of a framework that we landed on, it was really born from a conversation that I had with Dave very early after I started at AsBuilt. And he was talking about AsBuilt's grown as an organisation from the capture piece, and then because we've done the capture piece, we moved into a modelling environment. And then because we started doing modelling of the information sets and pulling it together, we then worked into the space where we're working a lot more with contractors and started helping them fabricate their information sets. And then we moved into the management piece as we got smarter about what we're doing, and we could do those lessons of everything before that have moved us into this management area, large data sets, which then moved us into this piece of advising clients of what was the best way to go around it. And I think when you started to look at that all coming together, it started to have this building block that we could land all of the services that we did on it. And then when we looked at our products business, which is new, and Microsoft as a partner is helping us really unlock the language and how we do that. It became obvious that we had, just as we were trying to do digitizing and construction siting, having a connectivity glue that would hold everything together. Within our own business, we started to map that sort of frame as well. And it just became this incredibly natural transformation of our business, was that we had this simple framework we would land everything on, and then we could communicate internally and be able to communicate now. We've got a message that we can take forward about how AsBuilt is growing and how we're changing as a business, and keeping that language real simple. Simplicity in language is the great unlock for this whole industry. As you heard him say, AI, ML, MICKEY, people don't understand these terms. So it's got to get down to simple language. And I think that simple language is allowing us to unlock leaders of organizations, CEOs, CFOs, to understand what they're going to get.
Just, I guess, a big change for me, and this leads into probably what we're doing at the MCG, Simon. What we are seeing in our industry, and what really gets traction, I think, with business, is by connecting our traditional project, property, facilities side and knowledge with the management side of a business to that C-suite. And I think the management sides of business, they're starting to realize that the spatial framework, this start of a digital twin, can be used to not only build their assets and manage the facilities teams with more certainty, but we can actually bring in live data and visualize it spatially and understanding what my business is doing in real time. So, and I think if we bring up that slide around the MCG, Simon, talk us through some of the stuff that we're doing there.
Yeah, I mean, a great example, Dave. Looking at the MCG there, they had a really, obviously a really big facility, quite an interesting one as well for us. It's an existing facility. They've got a small window where they go from having 1,000 people on site to suddenly they've got 100,000 people attending a big game, and that happens over a period of about 6 hours. So from that point of view, their key driver is to really operate that facility as efficient as they can, and obviously maximize their revenue from that. Some of the solutions that we put on for them to try and do that was really, they had an existing CCTV network, and through some of our connections with our ISV network, we're able to get a lot of our team skilled up in terms of using the camera vision for AI and machine learning around detection and counting of people. In the video, you can see how we're looking at different ways to count people, crowd flows, dwell times. So again, dwell times, knowing when crowds are building up, how well people are flowing through the facility, whether they need to deploy more people to an area, more staff to an area to help people, get through a certain area quickly. Some of the things around positioning of people and actually spatially understanding where they are. So for example, if they've got a lot more people building in an area, they can deploy some more security, or if they've got a health and safety issue, they can deploy a first responder. Who's the closest person? Again, that's all that spatial reference that really helps us. And I think some of the solutions we developed are really cool, very good, really solve a practical problem they've got. I suppose, again, looking at it from a technical point of view, the work that we're able to do on Azure, and some of that high performance computing that we used with the massive data sets becomes really, really helpful. And it really helps us accelerate and deliver for a key client.
It's a shame that the tech doesn't enable you to guarantee the victory for the Black Caps as well, Simon.
It certainly does, mate. Yeah, I know.
But it's just really neat to see that technology piece, and that I enjoy technology. It does give me the heebie-jeebies a little bit when I go and look at the developers' screens. But I just love the practical outputs that can be achieved. and seeing them use it. So we've now collected data spatially. We've mapped all of their point of sale information. We're mapping their customer journeys to their asset and then through the asset. And then you've captured this data so you can replay a game day and understand who was spending what where were the people in the stadium, what was the population in different parts of the stadium.
That's been really good as well, having our Vault solution on Azure, because we're able to store massive amounts of data. I mean, you think around, Dave mentioned there, all the historic stuff. If you want to be able to dial back at any time and say, okay, 3 games ago, what was my attendance at this time? How can I compare it against today or this moment in time? You need a powerful storage platform to be able to do that. And it's really, we're talking, we looked at the AHB earlier. I mean, we're up to probably about 200 terabytes of data there. So it gives you an idea of some of the scales of information we're storing.
Let's bring it back, guys, to a New Zealand example. Tell us the innovation that's been done around New Zealand Strong. Tell us about that project.
We've been working with NZ Strong for probably 3 or 4 years now on different projects. And we wanted to help them with, I guess, some of our thinking of what we thought could improve things. And I guess because of the relationship that we'd had with NZ Strong, there was a certain amount of trust there, but also I think their culture is quite similar to ours. They like improvement, they like improving things. So yeah, we had this idea, said to NZ Strong, can we try this on your site? And we ended up digitizing a construction site. And I think this video will show you some of the technology. Again, the technology I love, but I don't think technology solves the problem. And I think, yeah, let's have a look at this video and talk about what problems we're solving after the video.
If we listen to the research from companies like Gartner, digital twin really is that next stage of development in this world of digital transformation. So it's great to see partners like AsBuilt really leading the way.
The core about our solution is digitizing the construction site. We're focused around 3 main areas: the environment, the people, and plant. The connected construction site is about digitizing site processes and connecting the whole supply chain digitally on our platform. What we're focused with this solution is having the right technology with that spatial accuracy. So on this site, we're using a lot of camera vision to detect people movement, to manage some danger exclusion zones around site. We're also using other sensors to measure the environmental conditions. Are we conforming with the noise constraints put on the site?
So what you can see on the construction site is lots of stuff going on. There's lots of points where you can start capturing data that never been done before. When we start rolling out 5G, you're going to start being able to get real-time, high-definition information of what's going on.
Microsoft Azure was our first choice. The ability to bring together IoT, artificial intelligence and machine learning and present data in real time to our clients and stakeholders adds real value.
You're currently on Wynyard 100. Our efficiency we're seeing in terms of the time our crane is being used and how it's connecting to deliveries on site. We're seeing a higher level of accuracy in terms of traffic movement around the site.
Fantastic to see the video. Now, tell me what it really means for you guys and for AsBuilt. How have you utilised what we've just seen?
I'll tell you one thing it does do, just back to that point about deliveries and managing the site better. There's so much information that's happening on a site at any one time. From a health and safety perspective, down to deliveries, down to actions that are taking place, permits to work. These are all sort of hot zones that site management teams and project managers and all these guys have to be aware of what's going on should something go wrong. And by having it all connected and that partnership, in this case with Spark and with Microsoft, to really work on a real project with New Zealand Strong is bringing it all together. It's all landing on that Vault product. It's connecting everything spatially. They're able to keep control of noise, any complaints that come in, they've got the data sets recorded. They can just make their jobs easier in terms of that overall management piece. I mean, the concrete still has to be poured, and the steel still has to go up, and the windows need to go in. But it's a lot of that sort of stress comes from some of those other things and paperwork and products and warranties. And I know Dave and Dave will especially want to talk about how we're introducing PayLab products to help with the collection of some of the data sets as well. But a connected construction site is actually bringing it all together. And I think
there was some
really important.
Really interesting challenges there, and it's interesting, Craig, you bringing up that, because we saw the video there, and you mentioned about having access to data. We look at how it's done without that sort of solution there. You know, some of the real world problems they had was literally having access to that information, you know, and having, you know, when there's a noise complaint, how can they actually have a look at the information and say, okay, what was the decibel rating at this time and this place, and having a platform where you can go to that day or that week and compare the actual values and say, look, here it is, this is the information, this is what we're at. It really enables the team managing that site to be a lot more efficient, and I think that's where some of our practical real world experience came in to sort of solving a problem there and gaining some real efficiency.
And I love the so what question. So what? You got all this amazing technology doing things. We've written some amazing code. Look at this, it can count people, but it's the so what. And I think that thing that we all keep coming back to, and I think this is a major reason why our industry hasn't improved. We haven't digitized, is that we've been lacking this digitization. So by digitizing the construction site and using Azure to manage the security and access of all of that data, we can now connect the whole supply chain to the digital construction site. And I think the so what, well, you can now use the platform to book your deliveries and know what other deliveries you're there. So it's kind of it's a self-service piece. We can book crane time. We can understand utilization of certain assets. We can book our goods lifts. We can do our digital permits to work. It's just these basic things, by connecting everybody together, create so much more efficiency and certainty.
That's awesome. I guess if you had to sum it all up, Craig, technology is really the heart of what you guys do.
Yeah, look, it really is, Luke. And I mean, we can lose ourselves in technology all the time, but really what we're actually doing is using technology to unlock humanity again, which is kind of a reverse thinking. We're all scared of it, but you know, by removing all those pain points, all that information that we have to process as people, can be removed, the sort of the mundane stuff, and let people think about what problem is coming up in the future that they have to solve. You really do unlock that sort of ability to have better run projects, and your efficiency gain isn't measured in percentages. It's almost measured in stress levels of the humans that are on the site. So it's a very human way to look at it, and even at AsBuilt, you know, we're thinking now with a connected construction site, like what is the human aspect of what we're doing? You know, is it really helping? We might be driving numbers in a better way, but how are the people interacting with what's going on as well? And I think you get the marriage between the two, and it's really, really important. So it's creating a more high trust environment, and I think trust is a really, really big part of delivering well.
Well, let's come to you, Dave, next, because I mean, one of those partnerships that you have, and there is a lot of trust with this brand as well, is the partnership with Microsoft.
They really help us gain trust with our clients and the surety of their information being looked after, being safe and secure. At the same time, you've got to respect that relationship, and it takes a while to earn that respect and know that navigation and figure out how to work together really well. But it's really, really exciting, because I think it gives us the ability to communicate and educate a far bigger market, and then also some of our technology solutions that we've been doing. It's really neat to know they've got your back, and that we can scale these solutions as fast as we need to.
There's a trust from Microsoft and people that use that brand with as well. I think that's really, really important. So to give you just an example of how we partnered with Microsoft, where they heard of an opportunity, and it went out to 2 or 3 different partners of Microsoft's, and the particular client based here in Sydney was looking to do a digital twin of a production line. And because we delivered with Microsoft before and partnered with them on the MCG and other projects like the connected construction site, they knew that we could do it. And so they put us forward to just have a chat with these guys, and we're now delivering a digital twin on this production line for one of their other clients. And I think it's that trust, it really works both ways. Is the brand name trust is cool, but then you've actually got to have delivered as well. And I think part of the journey part of being on this journey, is just continuing to kick goals, continuing to do just what you said you were going to do this time, and then follow on to the next time, and then the next time. And I think with that trust, that really starts to build that sort of brand cohesion, and that brand name will get you in the door, but then we're still having to do the work ourselves. It's not a fait accompli. So I think that's really, really cool. So the trust is built both ways, and you need both sides of the trust equation to work. Otherwise, it's just a one-way relationship. And I know that's not where Microsoft wants to take their partners, and building your own marketplace and building that brand bigger as well. So
we've also got, I think, to add in there, we've got that security side of things as well. We've talked around these massive data sets that we're looking after for some of these big organizations you've seen, and it's not little AsBuilt, we're waving our flags saying we're going to look after all your data. It's, we've got that trusted brand of Microsoft and that secure platform that we use to store everything, and I think that's a massive benefit to what we're doing, and really does help us progress past some of those difficult early questions.
Dave, I'll come to you for this one. What do you think the future holds for AsBuilt, for your industry, and for your partnerships?
So that Pay Lab piece, I'm really excited because of the opportunity to provide that digital connection with the whole supply chain and start connecting that to the spatial model, and also bringing in that harvesting information, our warranties, our guarantees, our compliance. And this next part of it, what we're doing, we've just digitized a process that happens on site every month. So we're not adding a new process in, we're streamlining an existing process, but by doing that, we're capturing that data every month. We are understanding progress, we're understanding cost every month, and one thing that we're looking at the moment is how we convert that into a monthly carbon spend on a construction site. So that side of things, yeah, it really excites me. What's your favourite thing at the moment, Craig?
Apart from chocolate ice cream? Yeah, no, sorry, I shouldn't really, but listen, I reckon actually one of the most exciting, I mean, I'm one of the newest guys at AsBuilt. I've only been here 3 months, but for me was the way that AsBuilt are innovating what they're doing, and they continue to innovate. Just 2 weeks ago in New Zealand, they announced that they were going to release, come back from a level 4 restrictions on workforce down to level 3 and what that meant. And so we realised that from a construction site perspective, we needed some sort of COVID-19 tracker to help a contractor manage this new world. And the amazing thing was that our team just knuckled down, and 2 weeks later, we released it just the other day on our first construction site, that we now have a tracker in place to monitor the social distancing, or the contact tracing, of construction sites. And I mean, that level of innovation from a company to be able to just change in 2 weeks and deliver something and then move back to the next thing, our staff are excited about that as an industry. So they might not say it, but you can tell that they want to be part of the future of this sort of industry, where it kind of go. I mean, these sorts of products are very scalable, so that we develop them once and they can move many, many times, but also they're really interchangeable between different industries. So health and education have similar challenges to roading networks. You probably just don't realise it because it's all kind of happening in the background. So this whole world of where it's going to go, it's really, really exciting. Construction's down here in terms of digitisation. We want to move it up to here. So there's only one way for it to go, and that's up. And that's I think, for our teams, our actual people, it gives them something to really look forward to of where the future's going. They're not going to be stuck in a humdrum job, if you like. So I think that for me, that's one of the most exciting things, is where these young people that we employ are going to have somewhere to go in their career.
Do I get to talk about my favourite thing now?
Yes,
As long as
mate.
it's not chocolate ice cream.
It's working with that, isn't it, Simon?
Well. I think no. I want to talk about my favorite. We saw the ADHB video, and that's a project pretty close to my heart. I've been pretty involved with that one over the years, but we're really looking at how we're going back to that spatial side of things, and some of the work we've been doing with through our ISV channel and our support with Microsoft is really looking at how we can integrate Teams into our offering. We're still developing this at the moment. It's obviously in the future pipeline, but it's how we start to spatially manage access to a digital database, and how we can use Teams and an Active Directory to start doing that. And for me, that's one of my things, and I think that's a while off yet, but yeah, it's coming up fast. And when we start to crack that, it's when we really start to bring those links between that digital twin, that digital world, and the real world. And yeah, that's going to be pretty exciting when that starts to happen.
Yeah, one thing's for sure, guys. I can tell that innovation and technology is going to be a key part to what happens in your business. And it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. Simon Mobley, Craig Lamont, and David Burton from AsBuilt. Thanks so much for your time, guys.
Thanks, Luke. Cheers.
Thanks, Luke.
Bye.
Cheers.
Awesome, and thanks for joining us on Microsoft ISV Chats. As we said, it's an exciting new series, and we look forward to bringing you more of them as the weeks continue.